start. Let's go. What's going on, pal? Welcome to the pod. How you feeling?
I feel like at home here. This is very nice, very comfy. I feel like our aesthetics match. This is I'm loving the colorways, everything that's going on. I just turned my lights on. Just so happens matches. I mean, we're off to a great start already. I mean, how can you go wrong? This is it. Look at us.
How can you go wrong? Look at us.
Look
We're
at us,
thriving. Man. We were hitting our stride in 2019 when we were doing the shows.
I was hoping you're gonna start with it.
I know. We gotta start there because started Queen of the Ring 2018 for some brief synopsis or whatever. Started Queen of the Ring 2018. I met you 2019, January 2019, and we went to so many shows together. And
it was like I counted that year. I went to like 36 shows that year, I think, or something like that. And I think 34 of them were
with me.
We went everywhere. At one point we saw the entire trilogy of Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano, because just how they fell in like on the pay-per-views. It happened. One was in Brooklyn. The other one was in like Connecticut, and I think another one back in Brooklyn again or something weird. It was just like we were just all over the place. We saw everything, and it was at the pinnacle of like independent wrestling. Like,
yes,
it's like at the height when it was like just going full force. It was right before AEW started. So it was like everybody was trying to make a name for themselves, and we were at the same time trying to do the same thing.
We were trying to do the same time at the same thing.
Oh yeah.
And then like we were so ecstatic about 2020 and the pandemic happened and it really put a halt in our adventure together.
Man, it was wild. I mean, we were about to have a huge show with the Comedians Wrestling podcast. We were on the GCW Collective. Like, we were freaking out about like going to Mania in Tampa that year and being on that card. Like, it actually said our names and we were like, holy shit, this is like it. And then the pandemic happened and left us scrambling to figure out what we were going to do with our lives. And most of us just decided to take out all of our collectibles and make cool studios at home. I dipped my toe in the streaming world for a little bit there, and it was fun and it was cool. But you know, now we're here. You know, we're back.
Yeah. Now we're here together, embracing wrestling. And like you said, the indies were booming when we were heading to all the indies back in 2019. AEW has happened. AEW picked up some of that indie talent that we used to see like almost every weekend. And you remember when Alex Reynolds bit Lauren Moran's middle finger? Like, when I see him on TV now, like, for instance, AEW just like happened. We're recording now on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I look at Alex Reynolds. I'm like, that's the dude that bit Lauren Moran's finger.
Man, me and that guy, we would get into so many heated battles. It was so awesome seeing. I hated him so much. Orange Cassidy. I remember the first time I saw Orange Cassidy. We were at an Evolve show in Queens, and it was just like he was a surprise like opponent. And at that time, it was like, who's this? And you're like, oh, that's Orange Cassidy. I'm like, never heard of this guy, and he did like a somersault out of the ring and like landed on in the crowd, super casual. I was like, this guy rules. And then now he's like the all Atlantic champion. It's like, what is going on?
I know,
wild.
Man.
We saw them all before they were huge stars, you know?
Yeah. Wrestling has evolved since then.
Seriously.
Dude. Yeah. It's been great. But let's talk about AEW Dynamite. What did you like? What did you not like?
Why does Tony Khan do this to us every time? He says he's gonna make a big announcement, and then like I didn't want to be I didn't want to like be a Karen here and like be like you know, AEW, it's not gonna be anything big, but it really wasn't anything big. I mean, it's just like, damn, man, he got me again. Like, I don't know what I'm thinking he's gonna say at this point that's gonna blow me away. I was saying, I think I said this the other day or whatever. I was like, I haven't really been watching AEW, and it's crazy. Like, it hasn't even really crossed my mind, you know. Like, I don't even I think this is for the first time in a long time that I really have no idea what is going on over there. And I looked at my DVR, I was like 2.5 episodes behind on Dynamite, and I was like, I honestly, and I haven't even seen on social media stuff too. It's like I had no idea, other than MJF being champion. I know that Iron Man match, but that felt like that started so long ago, and we're like, is it Evolution yet? Or Revolution yet? I was like, now it's here. So it was cool to catch up tonight. And I was like, oh, all right. But like, I don't know, man. It's just, it gotta, I don't know what they can do right now to get that spark back that they had, you know, like it just seems like it's the same stuff again over and over. And the things that have worked aren't, like, the wrestlers aren't there now. I will say the women's division is I'm like super into everything that's going on right now with the women, which is funny because that was something that wasn't a huge target point for AEW. But I love Jamie Hayter as champion, and I love what they're doing with her. I think she's perfect, and I think she's killed it. And that's the only thing I really feel like they've capitalized on momentum wise recently that's worked out really well for him is Jamie Hayter. So.
Yeah, I think so too. Jamie Hayter's a really good champion. I'm going to love the stuff that, I mean, they should have built Jamie versus Ruby a while ago. I don't know how this one-dimensional stable with Paige and Tony Storm got into the mix of it. I can care less about them. I care more about Jamie Hayter and Ruby Soho going into Revolution. But I also think that's just the overall theme of AEW right now. Everything just feels very one-dimensional. There's no depth to anything. There's no tension with anything. Like MJF, his character's getting a little stale. Like, he's good, but it's getting a little stale. And again, like, there's nothing at stake when it comes between him and Brian. Brian's like, okay, this is just another bump in the road with my wrestling career. Like, it doesn't seem like Bryan Danielson wants to be champion. It just seems like he wants to get MJF out of his hair. I'd also don't understand why we didn't pull the trigger on MJF versus Ricky Starks going into Revolution.
Yeah. Man, I just feel like Tony's like in this weird spot, you know, where he's just like, we don't have the rankings anymore, right? And it's like he has ROH, and I think it's been like ever since he had gotten ROH, it seems like everything kind of has gotten derailed a little bit, like in a sense of booking wise, where he's just like, well, I have all this talent, so I might as well just book what people want to see the most. And I think we've seen it all now. It's just like Jungle Boy and Christian Cage. How many times I feel like I've seen that 1,000 fucking times, you know? It's like, I was like, this is still going on. I tuned into that. I was like, we're doing this. All right, he's bleeding and great. All right, we've seen this. Like, I guess we didn't really get the payoff, so we gotta, you know, Tony's really got to finish it here. But now we're getting another battle royale for the tag team thing. And like, I'm looking at that men's tag division, and I'm like, why is Jeff Jarrett getting another shot? Why is Top Flight not in there? Like, give that division a spark. It's like, I'm looking at that match now. I'm just like, and then where's FTR? You know, the Bucks are tied up in the trios titles, which I'm hoping that the House of Black like pulls the Elite out of their funk, because honestly, I think that's the number one thing right now, is that I think Kenny and the Bucks are just lost. And they have been the identity of this brand since Cody has left, and they have just are completely just, listen, they're having fun, and that's cool by me, but they don't tell good stories. with Cody gone, there's no story for them to tell anymore. They're just shooting hoops and playing basketball. You know, it's like, you know, even I hope the House of Black can bring that out in them, but I'm not really sure what's left for them to do. And honestly, then what is AEW without the Elite? You know, it's just,
it's literally in the name.
Yeah, it's kind of lost. It's kind of lost its vibe and its feel now, and it's really tough because this Bloodline stuff and everything with Sammy and everything that's just happened at the Elimination Chamber. There's a whole new vibe with WWE, with storyline, and it being, this is everybody saying, you've watched wrestling for how long? When was the last time people were like, this is the best storyline ever? When was the last time we've talked about the storyline being the best thing ever? There's moments, CM Punk coming back recently and like all this other crazy stuff that's happened, but there has never been a storyline. And now it's like, you look at AEW and you're like, they barely got a title picture like worth seeing, like I'm only tuning into that card because I want to see if MJF can actually wrestle for 60 minutes. That's it. Like, I don't know what Revolution's really promoting. It's going to be a true test to get people to sign up for $50 this time around,
Yeah, there's really nothing, there's no match that jumps out to me in Revolution. And like you said, like in the storytelling department, which is a huge thing in wrestling, WWE has that down pack, with the Bloodline. And granted, that's like one story happening in WWE, but it's so massively good that the return of Cody winning Royal Rumble is slightly overshadowed because of how good that storyline is. And there's just
so true.
It's just nothing's happening in AEW that is really catching my eye. Like, Jamie Hayter is the only person. Honestly, it's Jamie Hayter and Ricky Starks that are really like holding my attention with AEW.
And even at that, it's like,
bro, how many times we got to see Christian versus Jungle Boy? And Jungle Boy is considered one of the pillars of AEW, and he has been stuck in that storyline for so long.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And even Ricky Starks, it's like, why is he still doing this with Jericho now? It's like, it's weird. It's really, really weird. They're in a weird state. It's like, I could not believe that Jeff Jarrett just won that thing. I could not believe it. And I'm just like, I don't understand what's going on. It's almost like the booking's getting lazy. It's weird. And you know what? It's fine. I think what we have to do is right now, WWE is going into Mania the best it's ever been. It's huge WrestleMania happening in LA. We're all going to be there. It's going to be marvelous. We're going to scream our faces off. Everybody's going to get things that they want, and it's going to be a 2-night spectacular. The indie scene out there in LA is going to be crazy. There'll be AEW wrestlers out there. Everybody will be out there. After that happens, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens across the landscape of professional wrestling, especially with AEW, with how they're going to answer to all this. Because right now I'm looking at it and I don't think they have an answer. I just don't.
It's going to be interesting to see what is going to happen leading into Double or Nothing, because that's the next big show for AEW. I think in a way, right, this season, like January to March, beginning of April, is always going to be WWE season, no matter what. It's always the time around, like, fuck the tribalism that has nothing to do with this. It's more so of like, this is WrestleMania season. It's the season where everybody comes around. If you haven't watched WWE in like a year since the last WrestleMania, you always come back. You have the WrestleMania parties, you have the Royal Rumble parties, and it sucks because not much is happening with AEW. I love all of the wrestlers that are a part of AEW. For the most part, the talent on television is good. It's just you're not giving them the manual to go out there and shine a little bit more as much of the potential as they have in AEW. And I'm not looking forward to the pay-per-view. I'm looking forward to the talent. I'm looking forward to the great matches that we're going to have because, again, the wrestlers are really great. That roster's great in AEW. It's just, I think maybe Tony Khan just has too many things in his plate and he just needs to get rid of some things. Did you see what he did on Twitter when he called out Ariel Helwani?
I'm like... I'm getting old. This is how I know I'm getting old. It's like I can't even keep up anymore. I can't keep up with the drama. I'm trying to figure it out on Twitter. I can't figure it out. I'm like, what did he say that was so bad? What did Michael Cole say that made it say it? And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I don't even know what this is. This had to have happened at the press conference, something with Punk, I'm sure. And I couldn't end up putting together, so I just gave up. Because that's what old people do now. Okay. And that's me on Twitter is when I dig deep enough and I can't find it, I'm just done. I just can't do it. I was like, I'm sure it's some funny drama, and I got enough to know that at least whatever Michael Cole said was enough of a dig towards Tony Khan to ruffle some feathers, and I kind of love that part of it. So,
well, it was more so Ariel was seen on SmackDown, and Ariel has had, I think he's openly admitted that it's hard to have an interview with Tony Khan. And so Tony Khan tweeted out how Ariel is a horrible journalist, worse than Tony Schiavone, which why would you bury Tony Schiavone? He's like, he works at AEW. It's so weird. And then he called Ariel a unbiased journalist, which is like, it's just so weird. First of all, you're watching SmackDown. Tony just admitted that you're watching SmackDown. That's dumb. And second, like, why are you getting hurt over someone that is a journalist? That
do you see why I'm confused? Is like, am I getting worked here? What's going on? Like, I'm trying to understand why this is a thing, and I really think this is one of the moments where this shouldn't have been a thing. I really love him being a part of wrestling, though. I think he has got the goods, Ariel. Like, I really think he does. I like how he interviews MMA people on his show, and I think he can bring his style very seamlessly over to the WWE. I think Fox loves him. I think what Fox is doing right now is putting reminds me of 40-year-old virgin, putting WWE on a pedestal right now, like big time. They're putting Fox is all over the place with WWE for the Super Bowl, for NASCAR, all their commercials. They got Roman Reigns. They're pushing their advertising on all their main shows and everything. Fox is loving WWE right now, and it's paying off because there's more eyes that are on it, and they're capitalizing on the big stars and like the magnitude of the actual superstar. Charlotte Flair was at the Daytona 500. Roman Reigns is on Jimmy Fallon now. Like, this WrestleMania is gonna be wild. Like, I'm like excited. I think more for WrestleMania as from the production element, because I always come from that side of things. Like, I see things through a production scale, and that's why I'm like, I'm so grateful Cody Rhodes is in WWE for the pyro thing that he does now, and knowing that, like, man, that adds so much to his character. Just a simple him screaming whoa, the whole crowd going whoa, and him getting this diesel fire pyro like that at WrestleMania when he does it this year is going to be electric. And you don't get that in AEW. And I think that's what Cody realizes, like, hey, I'm at this level of stardom now where I'm not going to get the most out of what I could achieve by being here in AEW. I need to go to WWE because I can get the production that will come with it. AEW made a couple minor changes, which I think were big, which was get rid of the tunnels. I thought the tunnels were so, like, 3 years ago, AEW. Yeah. I've been screaming.
It's time for a rebrand.
Yeah. I was screaming for a new production setup. And I think they're getting there, but they're still very far off. Like, I still think the pay-per-views need to look different. Like, he was just rolling out the same stage, Tony, for an All Out as a Dynamite, or he'd actually upgrade more for a special Dynamite show than he would for a pay-per-view. It's just like, like, I think it's that time where Tony needs to maybe throw a little bit more money at the production and like the style of what's happening in AEW, and stop relying so much on the work rate and the actual wrestling,
Yeah. I think what I like about the AEW production is that it's not as flashy as the WWE production.
Totally.
And I think that's like the alternative that I like with AEW. But how do you think AEW should go about like making their wrestlers seem like legitimate stars. Like what you were saying where Fox really takes priority with WWE, like how would that happen with AEW, especially with their Warner Brother fiasco that's happening?
Yeah, I honestly just don't know. I mean, when you have talents like Jade and Wardlow and like they're being put on a silver platter for Tony, like, and he's not capitalizing. I'm sorry, like he's just not. Like, I mean, Wardlow was white hot, and they put that title on him, and then just cooled him off, And I think that's on them. They have this insane talent right at their fingertips, and they're just not capitalizing on doing anything meaningful for them because these wrestlers are able to get hot by doing what makes them work and their shtick, but they're not giving them anything after that. And when if you don't have something lined up for them after their success starts, they're just going to crash and burn, which is what's been happening. It's like Darby can only do so many coffin drops and crazy stunts till it's just like, all right, we've seen this guy do this before, So it's time that, writers, long-term booking, these things need to start to come into play because everybody, if you look across that roster from the ones that have been there from the beginning till now, there's no noticeable change in terms of characters or gimmicks or things like that. Like really, like Britt's the same, Orange Cassidy's the same, like Kenny, the Bucks maybe like have changed a little bit, but they're still very much the same. There's no Jericho like reinventing himself in different ways, but still doing the same kind of shtick, just in a different way. So it's like, it's time that they need to get creative. Like, I'm done with Jungle Boy. I want to see Jack Perry, like Hollywood Jack Perry. I want to see the iteration of his dad and like that guy. I don't want to see Jungle Boy anymore. This is all fun and great, but there's got to be a new version of him, like same thing with Darby Allin. There's got to be a new side of Darby Allin that we haven't seen. Maybe it's ditched the face band and he's become something else, but what is it that is happening over there that's really all that exhilarating anymore? It's unfortunately it's the same old thing. Even Mox has gotten stale, and which is like crazy, like Wild Thing just doesn't even seem that fun anymore. It's like, how'd they make that happen? What the hell?
I think AEW's problem right now that are unfortunately facing is that they were just heavily relying on CM Punk last year, and he massively failed everybody in that company, even people that didn't want him in that company.
So true.
He failed them all, and Tony Khan is now scrambling, and it
so
feels
true.
like the elite is somewhat scrambling. Not so much with
You're right.
them or Tony. It's just like, where do they fit in after now this like very public fight that happened?
It's spot on.
And it just feels like that has damaged them a little bit. And like, even if you do watch every single week and you are enjoying the product, you can't help but to think like what is going on with CM Punk? Tony's big announcement that happened. Basically, Tony Khan announced that AEW has a Total Divas show. You cannot tell me otherwise. All Access is a Total Divas show for AEW. And everyone that's been shitting on Nikki Bella for the past like 2 or 3 weeks can shut the hell up, because now you have a reality show and you're like, oh, I don't like this, blah, blah, blah. The first show wasn't for you. This show is.
Yeah.
Stop, like, shut up. Sit down and watch the extra content that you want, that you've been begging for. Anyways, very excited for the AEW Total Divas show that is about to All Access out us to death or whatever. I don't know. Very excited for the Total Divas show. It's the Total Divas show. It's the Total Elite show. But, yeah, it just seems like they were really relying on CM Punk, and like he wasn't. CM Punk wasn't doing anything for the roster anyways, other than, hey, this is the CM Punk show, and like, of course, CM Punk was gonna bring more fans to AEW. It's just like
it's crazy Punk, because like I forgot. I think it was Will Washington made a post about it recently, and he said like right before Punk came back, like AEW is white hot too. They were just like on fire. They didn't even need Punk to come back. I think that was like when Hangman was met hell over, like, and like there was just Wardlow and Hook and Jade, and I was like Britt a year ago with the like, oh my god, even I can't, I'm like blanking on her name, Thunder Rosa, like even with all that stuff going on, it was like AEW was white hot, and then the Punk stuff happened and you're like, holy shit, this is crazy, this is legit now, like AEW's on the map. And then it was almost like Tony forgot everything that got him there and just was gonna ride this Punk wave out, and that's what he did. And he didn't bail. It's like a stock, like just a stock that's like got you so high up. He saw the money, he went blind, and then the stock started to crash, and little things started to happen. It kept going there, and he never bailed. He just rode that thing out until it freaking crashed and burned. And he literally got rid of all the things that were good. It's crazy to think about, but like he really got rid of the rankings. He just started all of a sudden, like right around what's the Queen show that he does?
Grand Slam.
Yeah, right around Grand Slam. Right before that, I noticed it was like September going into Grand Slam. I'm like, it feels like he's just booking because he's got ROH stuff. It feels like he's just fantasy booking, and I think he's just sticking. And all of a sudden, he comes out and he says, "Yeah, we got away from rankings now." And I'm like, once that happened, I was like, this guy is just doing whatever the hell he wants right now. He doesn't even have anything. He doesn't have anything to lean on anymore. Like with his like booking and how he does stuff, he can always say the rankings. Oh, look, I got this person. That's why they're here, so to say. But now he wasn't doing it, and he hasn't really recovered since. And I listen. I was a huge NXT mark back in the day. I got away from NXT. I got into AEW. I'm the type of fan that like when things are good, and I always admit it. And when things are bad, I've said the same stuff about it. Right now, there is no touching WWE. It is on fire. It's the best it's ever been, and it's really cool to see like everybody saying that. And I think that's really important because when WWE is doing this, I truly believe, being the huge NXT fan I am and I was, and Alex, I mean, we went to every single takeover that was around.
Yep,
I was the biggest Adam Cole Undisputed Era fan, had all the stuff. You bought me like I think a full NXT sweatsuit.
Yes,
I have NXT pillows. I was black and gold was. I believed in that vision that Triple H had, and I think he's now has that with WWE, with Raw and SmackDown. And I think what's about to happen is he's going to lure in more talent that's going to really put WWE back over the edge. Like, I think NXT is in a great spot for them again. And I think when you start seeing names like Jay White coming to WWE, Will Ospreay, when the Joshi wrestlers start coming over, like when Mercedes comes back, like I could see him start to work and do all that stuff. And when that starts to happen, you better watch out because it's like Thanos. He like completed his vision. It's like, I think we all knew it when we saw the black and gold NXT. And I know you did. We were all just like, man, we need this. We need this for Raw and SmackDown. Like when that happens one day, that's when we'll all be happy. And it's happening. And
do you think Will Ospreay is gonna go to WWE?
I think one day he 100% will. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think
I'm gonna respectfully disagree, but if that's part of your fantasy, I support it.
I just think with Triple H there, and with the way things are happening, and the way the booking is, and the way people are giving the recognition back to WWE for doing this, I think there's a new forbidden door, and it's back. I think that forbidden door is now shifted back to WWE. I don't think a Jay White going to AEW means nearly as much as a Jay White going to WWE now.
You're definitely right on that.
I think back in the day, like a year ago, when AEW was really thriving, if Jay White would have came into the mix, like, and they did that full time, and like he was officially over, then I would have been like, this is massive. But right now, I don't think so. I think Jay White going to WWE is huge. Like I think it would change the game big time. And for Triple H to have a guy like that thrown into the mix with getting the most out of guys like Finn Balor now, AJ Styles coming back, Roman at the top, you have Seth Rollins, you have all these huge just mega superstars over there now. Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley. It's like wild. Even now, look at Asuka. Like this Asuka Bianca match is going to be insane. Like it just seems right for the first time in so long. And I get really excited about it because this is what we always wanted. We wanted to see these wrestlers like this, and we're finally getting it. And that's why I think this WrestleMania is going to just destroy on all levels, like big time. Big time.
I think this WrestleMania is going to be good. It's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. I mean, you know, I think it's safe to say you've always been a WWE guy, but you are a connoisseur of opening your mind to other things as well. But you are massively right. We're right now in the storytelling department again with Sami Zayn, the Bloodline, and Cody even. Like Elimination Chamber, we need to talk about that main event. That main event was wild. I did not sit down at all for that main event. I was standing up the whole time, and I texted you.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is unreal, bro.
We were getting, you were giving me like every false finish text. Like, I would get one after every false. Yeah, every false finish. It was like, holy shit. Whoa.
I thought that was the one, dude.
You know, it's really cool to like, and that's what I said. It's like, it's really cool to hear how positive everybody was about that. Like, even with him losing, that people could look back and respect how awesome that moment was. You know, you look at things that we've gotten to witness, like the Kofi Manias, and you compare it to something like this. And like, even with Sammy losing in Montreal, it still was like the coolest moment ever. Like, I haven't gotten like emotional like that over wrestling in a long time. And it's really cool to see a city like that get behind their wrestler, just like they would get behind their professional sports team, and not like just like actually get behind him more than they would behind their professional sports team. And that's like the coolest thing coming from a sports background and a huge sports fan. I don't know if you know this, but I'm from Long Island. Big Mets and Islanders fan.
What?
Did you know that? I'm from Long
I did not know you were from Long
Home
Island.
of Billy Joel. Yeah. Let's go Islanders.
Who the hell is Billy Joel?
You know, that was like the coolest thing ever. You know, them going freaking bananas. And then like the silence of the crowd when it finally happened. It was like wild. Like it's like Roman gets a 3 count. And that just shows, man, that Roman Reigns is that dude. Like I don't think we've seen it in a long time, but like for his career is so wild to look back at and think about how he was standing in that ring after that Taker match, after that Monday Night Raw, after Mania, and getting booed out of the building to where he is now is just insane. And then you also at the same time get the complete opposite of Sami Zayn being so over and getting that kind of reaction from the crowd and putting on that kind of performance. And it's not done. That's the crazy part. It's not done.
How do you think it's gonna finish with him and Cody? Because like that main event was, I would say that was at the same level as Money in the Bank 2011 with CM Punk and John Cena. Like the crowd played a huge role in telling that story. And, you know, I think with that night, although Sami Zayn did not win, I think it accomplished his longevity. Like I think that it was more so like it put a staple on his longevity, and I think more people want to see him stay in the main title scene. It's just now the question is what is going to happen next and how is he going to stay in the main title scene? And how the hell does Cody fit into all of this? Because now he's just been talking to Paul Heyman and he's not had a face to face with Roman Reigns yet. I'm
I
curious to see
I
how
love
that's
it.
going to look, you know?
You know, I just love it though. And then that's another part that they've nailed. You know, I think it's always been like people like the man or the woman will win the Royal Rumble, and then it's like you have this awkward thing. It's like, oh, the Elimination Chamber always got in the way, but this time the Elimination Chamber didn't get in the way. You know, like it was a part
Mm-hmm.
of building a match for the women, and it was a part of a U.S. title picture. So it was like you didn't have to really work. Oh, it was like this interesting booking though, because Roman had a match with Sammy. It's and then keeping Cody away from Roman that whole entire time is just like so well done. And they're strategically using it with Raw and SmackDown being different shows and like moving the pieces around to be like, oh, well, Cody's only going to see Roman if he's on Raw because that's Cody's on Raw, you know. So if Roman's on SmackDown, oh well, Cody won't be there. There's, you know, we can have Roman show up on SmackDown, but just not show up on Raw to keep them apart. And it's just like, wow, like we haven't had that kind of logical booking in WWE in like a decade. It feels like, especially with show usage. So I love this. I think it's really interesting right now for Cody, you know, but he hasn't let us down in what the last 5 to 7 years. And in terms of doing this kind of stuff, he knows how to make the moment. And I think, you know, to be honest with you, I'm starting to think I don't want Roman to lose. I'm starting to think like, hey, I don't think I want Roman to lose. I think it's just too good. I think this can go on for a really long time until what Seth or you know the Money in the Bank comes up now again, or something else happens, or somehow someone, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I think, and that's it. The great part is that like I think they're trying to telegraph us all to think that Cody's going to win this thing at Mania. But what if he doesn't? Why is no one saying that? Could you imagine?
I don't know, man. It feels like Cody should win, but it also feels like Cody is not going to win cuz like no one has beaten Roman. I mean, like I think Baron Corbin came out and was like, "I'm the only one that pinned Corbin." It's like, "Yeah, but you know, you're no offense, but you're
Yeah.
nobody. Like you're
Like
somebody, but you're nobody."
if the Sammy story isn't the one, then what is the story to do it? Is it, you know,
Yeah.
like, is it really Cody? Is it this Cody story that he goes? I mean, listen, this is actually huge in the terms of the landscape of professional wrestling that this guy left WWE, helped create a rival brand, leaves that brand and comes back to fulfill his legacy, his family legacy, to win this title and win it. You can't script a better story. I mean, honestly, it doesn't even actually make sense. He shouldn't be here. He should never have came back. Like this is where he's not even supposed to be here. So in terms of really what's left, who would be the person? There's only like maybe Cena has failed, so there's no reason for Cena to do it. It's The Rock. It's maybe Seth, but Seth has technically failed too. Sammy's like, I guess now. So it's like, really, who's left if Cody doesn't do it? It's got to be somebody from like outside of the company, like an Okada or a Kenny Omega or something like crazy. Because if it doesn't happen now, then really what's left? And that's, I think, where WWE's in an interesting spot, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out, but I think you are correct where it just doesn't seem like anyone is going to win over Roman if it's not Sami Zayn. Like Sami Zayn makes more sense because it's like, you know, keep your friends closer and your enemies closer, and he is the number one person that has probably seen the holes in Roman Reigns' game, has seen like the flaws and knows how to take him down. It seemed like he was very close at the Elimination Chamber, and
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense for Cody to be a part of this, but it made sense for Cody to be a part of this last year before Sami Zayn was really cooking with the bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to see him back. It's good to see him win the Royal Rumble. Cody tells a great story, but it
Mm-hmm.
just seems like, and that's also the thing with wrestling, and when some of these athletes, this talent gets injured, like sometimes that lightning in the bottle can go really quick and a momentum can really stop some people. And I don't think that Cody's momentum has stopped, but it kind of feels like it's dying out a little bit because of the desire to see Sami Zayn take down the entire bloodline and the top of the tribal chief, which is Roman Reigns. So we just gotta wait and see for WrestleMania, babe.
Yeah, I think it's a great time. I like I said, it's wild. I think there's just not enough, because really it all comes down to the bloodline staying together. If Sammy is successful at taking down the bloodline, then Roman will lose at WrestleMania. I think that really is a storyline, and it all depends on what Jay is going to do, because I think Jay is the only part that's keeping the bloodline together at this point. So if Jay decides to stick by Roman, then Roman will win at WrestleMania. But if he decides to abandon Roman, then Cody will win at WrestleMania. I think that's what it comes down to. And what that means for everybody, all parties involved after that, I have no idea. And honestly, I would love to see a Cody versus like Sammy at SummerSlam kind of program, down the road, as that match would go crazy and get who knows with Kevin Owens. So they're in a money spot, because when you have this kind of thing after the fact, that they hired that guy Rob Fee, who's a Marvel writer, as the director of long-term storytelling. Like, when you hire somebody like that, this is more than just about what's happening up till WrestleMania. This is for, okay, after Mania, this is our plan for the rest of the year. And I really think they've got a lot cooking for what's going to happen post Mania too, which is exciting. Yeah. Give me that Raw after Mania like vibe back, which we haven't had too. So
I know, maybe that's just what AEW needs, is just to hire a Marvel writer or something. I don't know.
Something like that.
Did you catch up on the Mercedes Moné match?
I didn't get to watch it yet. No, I have to. I heard it was awesome.
Mercedes Moné is our new champion, baby.
It's
IWGP.
So awesome.
Isn't it so cool to see how much she's valuing her worth outside of WWE? Oh
yeah, it's really cool, and I think it's massive for NJPW too. Like huge for them as well. And I think it's already
Stardom too. Yeah.
I mean, the amount of views that they're getting off of just this alone is massive. I said it, man. Give me that crossover like right now. Can you imagine Asuka versus her?
No, dude, the crossover that needs to happen, since New Japan is going to work with Impact, is Mercedes Moné versus Mickie James.
Oh yeah. That
needs to happen. That needs to happen for sure.
I'm just starting to think, like, you see this stuff happening, and the possibilities just become. Triple H is looking at that, and he's just like, oh my God. He's looking at that, and he's like, oh, man, this might have just all worked out, huh?
Man, could you imagine if he sends Seth Rollins to New Japan? I mean, he sent Shinsuke Nakamura. Somehow that deal was signed and delivered without any payback of Buddha coming into WWE somehow. My hands are up. My hands are up. What if Seth Rollins goes to New Japan? We have always, Nick and I, you and I, we have always like wildly fantasy booked.
Yeah.
Like, we just, things that are absolutely not possible, we have booked.
Hey, you gotta manifest and speak things into existence. I'm just doing the same thing. Like, if there was ever a time, it's now. I mean, like, listen. Yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see. Mm-hmm. But that leads us to our segment, shoot, or boot. And we're going over Seth Rollins gear.
Is there a fun song for this segment yet?
No, not yet. Do you want to make one?
We gotta get you an awesome song for this.
We do.
For some reason, the first song that I don't know why this happened, but this first song that came to my mind was the Bubble Bobble theme song from like Nintendo. That was like now. See, I'm really aging myself because Bubble Bobble was like one of the first original like Nintendo games. For all the old people out there that know the Bubble Bobble song, there's like 4 people listening to your podcast probably right now that know the Bubble Bobble theme song. I'm speaking to you guys. That should be the Shooter Boot song, okay?
Okay. Signed, sealed, delivered. Someone can make me a replica song.
Done.
Well, we'll get on that. Maybe we can get Seth Rollins to vocalize. But has anyone ever told you that you look like Seth Rollins? I feel like it's the very first time.
No,
you're
never.
Hearing this.
Oh man, when I had the long hair, it was bad. Like my favorite thing is like about looking like him was when I would be with people who never actually saw it happen live, where someone was like, oh my God, I think that's Seth Rollins, and would come up to me and like be like, oh, well, you're not Seth Rollins, my bad. And like, or would ask to take a picture with me and I do it and then they walk away and then people would be like, did that person think you were Seth Rollins? I was like, yeah. And then I would just totally go along with it. And I always love that. So it's like first interactions of friends that have never seen it before. The best one of all time was in Toronto. I'll tell the story real quick. We were there for SummerSlam. I get off the flight. We meet up with like me, Jack, my buddy Wetzel, and Rich, and we all get off. And I'm standing on the corner. I like literally get off the train. They drop you right off in the middle of downtown Toronto. I get off. I have my hair is long. I have my Seth Rollins hat on backwards, and I'm just standing on the corner. And all of a sudden, some dad comes over to me. He's like, "Hey, is it cool if my kid gets a picture with you?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure, man, no problem." And I'm just like, and in the background behind the dad are my 3 friends, Jack and stuff, and they've never seen this happen before. And they're like, wait a second, is this going on right now? Is this what's happening? And just take a picture with the kid. I put the fist up,
you gotta put the fist up.
Sometimes I make a face like and the guy's like, oh, thanks so much. I'm like, yeah, man, have a good one. And then just went on the way. I'm like, a lot of them were like, wait a second, did that guy just think? I was like, I think so. He's like, with this kid, you took a picture? I was like, yeah, I don't know, man. He wanted the picture. So I'm like, there's some kid right now, like in Toronto, probably has a picture of me and him
on his refrigerator.
Hey, Mom, how did Seth get his tattoos to not show on TV? Oh, his makeup's on. Yeah. Well, it's fake Seth Rollins, so gotta be careful out there. You might be me.
Bad to tell like the dad, like, nah, man, I'm not him.
I've done it so many times now at this point where I can't tell if someone actually thinks it's me or if they're just going along with it because they want a picture. So I always just say yes and keep on moving. Just like, all right, yeah, sounds good. And I just keep going.
Dude, I'm telling you, when we were going to like shows religiously in 2019, like the indie shows we were going to, people would do double takes and they'd be like, oh man, I thought you were Seth Rollins. Oh, that's pretty good. And they walk away. But the bigger shows, it was out of control. Like people, I remember, what was it? We were tailgating for TakeOver 25 and we were tailgating and there were people that like were coming up and being like, oh man, I thought you were Seth Rollins. Can I still get a picture with you? And you're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You're wearing an Undisputed Era shirt,
Uh-huh.
and
I had
somebody's
the
like, "You're
blonde.
Seth
I put the
Rollins."
blonde streak
You
in my
put the
hair too.
blonde, yeah. You put the
Uh,
blonde streak in your hair
hey,
too.
you know.
Yeah, I've seen. Yo, it's pretty wild to see that in person as your friend. Of like, man, this
Uh,
person does not know that this is not Seth Rollins.
I went to the Money in the Bank when it like just came back after pandemic. It was when Cena returned, and I was in the full flame suit. Like after that Money in the Bank, I walked out of that arena and was on the concourse. And I'm telling you right now, I must have taken 100 pictures, and I think more than half of them people thought I was Seth Rollins. Because I was doing the whole thing. I was yelling and screaming, ha ha, it's the revolutionary. And I'm walking around, people like, is that Seth Rollins? That's Seth Rollins? Holy cow, Seth, can I get a picture? I'm just like, yeah, sure. Just snapping pictures and just keep moving and going, and just nonstop. But the full flame suit, you know? So
Oh
I
my
get it. Listen,
God.
I'm all about his fashion. If you got a problem with Seth's fashion, you got a problem
You got a
with
problem with me.
me.
I wish I
Oh,
went
man.
to that Money in the Bank with you so I could like play as your security guard. Like,
Well,
all right. We need to go in the building.
I'm gonna have to pull out a big one for Mania this year. See, the problem is also though it's really tough. Like shout out to the people that cosplay and go to shows, and especially the big shows too. Mania is tough to cosplay because everybody is stopping and asking you to take a picture with you.
Yeah.
Every single person, and I'm not lying, it's exhausting. And like a Mania, like that's usually towards the tail end. Like the Sunday would be the last day, and you have to do all that and go through that whole entire thing. Shout out to all the cosplayers out there. It's exhausting to do that. You don't get to enjoy it as much when you're in the show and you're actually sitting down. It's fine, but like every single second you are getting screamed at or asked for a picture, like from the going to get a beer, going to the bathroom, you know, just coming back. It's so the last couple times I haven't worn it because I'm just like, I'm tapped out. I don't want to do it.
And sometimes like this isn't a knock on some people, but some people like don't read the room, because we have been together at again at these major shows. We have been together where like you're trying to get a beer or you're going to the bathroom, and I've seen people stop you and like, hey, can I take a picture? And I get mad for you, and I'm like, this dude is just trying to go to the bathroom. Can he like do it after he washes his hands? Like, what the hell? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I have respect for cosplayers because
It's wild.
yeah, it is wild.
I mean, you get it just normally, like just being around as, you know, just doing it. When you're dressed up, it's like, even at the Mania events, it's 100 times crazier. So I've been like low key not doing it.
Well, good. Seth Rollins is doing it for you. So let's go through these outfits, bud. Let's do it. Okay, first one we got this all gold number. I believe maybe this was 2017. I think this was WrestleMania 33. I could be wrong. People will yell at me in the comments below.
That's when he lit the stage on fire?
Yes, this is when he lit the stage on fire in that
Triple H.
massive runway into the ring for WrestleMania 33. Yeah, dude, I miss this logo. This Seth Rollins logo.
Me too.
It's classic. It's classic.
I know. Me too. The logo's fire. I'm gonna give it a shoot though. You gonna give it a shoot?
Logo. Yeah, logo's fire. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm all about the gold look. I mean, there's not many that do it better than Seth when it comes to entrance gear. I'm gonna, spoiler alert, I'm shooting most of these. Okay. There's not gonna be many boots here. All right, let me tell you something, sister. And this gold was fire because it really came together nicely, the whole entire thing. I loved it. I'm all about the gold.
You know what's funny? I asked people on Twitter, what is the best and worst suit or fashion that Seth Rollins has worn? Nobody gave me a worst. Like, there were a few people that are like, oh, some of the suits are like the worst thing in the world or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think they were for real. Nobody gave me an answer where Seth like missed anything at all.
No, because he doesn't miss. Yeah, he
He
doesn't
doesn't
miss.
miss. He doesn't miss at all. Not at all.
Like his
Yeah.
gear this past Elimination Chamber, I'm not sure if it's on here, but I'm just gonna say shoot immediately. I mean, it was beautiful. Gorgeous. Those white tights were like, oh, give me those all day long.
It's not on here, but
Okay.
we do have
Hmm.
the Night Walker Game of
Oh
Thrones
yeah.
WrestleMania 34.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is a shoot. This was
I mean,
so cool when he did
I,
it.
I right now I have on Lululemon joggers that look awfully similar to those, and I'm not even lying. Actually, I could show you to you. They're like literally just
Show him
like
off. Show
gray,
him off.
gray scale. You can't really see, but they're like gray scaly. Uh, more than anything, than this was the overall entrance. That was WrestleMania 34, right?
Yeah, WrestleMania 34.
The blue with the eyes behind him and him coming out with it. It just went perfectly. Shoot, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Super shoot. I feel like this is underrated too for Seth gear, but he's done some really great gear
Subtle.
since
It's
then.
subtle, you know. It's
Yeah.
not much, but it was perfect. The blue eyes and everything is nailed it.
Nailed it. Next, we got that all white. This is crisp Seth Rollins gear. Like
Architect.
this is mint. Architect. This is my favorite version of Seth Rollins too.
I mean, you can't.
Super shoot. Super.
I don't think that title's ever looked better than around the waist in the all white gear. Like, I am such a huge fan of champions that wear all white gear. I think it's something that more champions should do. I think Roman Reigns is missing out big time not going to the all white gear, especially being in the God mode. Can you imagine if he had? I've been craving for white tighty whiteys on a Roman, but if he wants to just go with the white pants, I'm cool with that too, with the gold glove. But man, if that dude just one day did the Okada when he just remember when Okada just and revealed he had the fucking shorts on, like, I mean, if Roman did that,
season is coming, dude. He might do it for WrestleMania.
Listen, I'm gonna be really disappointed if he comes out for WrestleMania and he's rocking the same black cargo fucking pants again. He needs an upgrade. It's time, Robin. If you're listening to this, it's WrestleMania. Give the people what they want. Hit the gym a little, do a couple extra squats. All right. We think you're gonna look great. And let them things clang and let them things bang. Okay. We need to see them all. Okay. It's time. It's time. You can't be God mode and wear black cargo pants and ugly boots. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Give us the white. Come out in the God mode with the white lay on, you know, have them have the whole, I want the whole tribal ceremony. All right. Shoot on the white.
Shoot on the white. Shoot on the white and Seth Rollins. Very much on demand for the white on Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Next, we got that Rey Mysterio Halloween Havoc rep on this gear.
This is why I love Seth Rollins, because he does this too. He did it with Dusty, right? He did the Dusty gear. He did the Shield gear against Roman, which was absolute fire. Wow, look at Buddy Murphy back there too.
Who the hell is that? Anyway, I'm kidding. I know who that is. I just like to do that with former WWE people or AEW people, really too. It's an inside joke. Anywho, I know who that is. I like that he does a rip on his opponent's gear because it's like an intimidation factor. Like it's what Rick Rude used to do with his gear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking a lot like Seth here right now.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Is this me as Buddy Murphy in the back?
Yeah. Yeah, very much like Seth there. Yeah, you know, we love this. We love this, right? I mean, how can you not? I think they nailed it, the look completely? I don't think so. I would say, you know what I'm saying? But like the idea and the fact that he uses it to troll his opponent's execution, 10 out of 10.
Yes, I think the execution, the presentation is a shoot. I
Mhm.
can see how maybe you would boot it a little bit, but
Mhm.
I'm a
Yeah.
boot the jacket. Never been a
Yeah.
fan of that jacket.
I own that jacket.
I know you do.
Uh-huh. I own that jacket.
But I'm gonna shoot everything else.
I own that jacket.
That jacket does not own you. You own the jacket. But
Oh.
Seth owns these glasses, baby. This is the black and gold. So this is the one. This was the one suit. This was the one fashion statement that people said this was his worst.
That's crazy.
I might. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna boot the jacket. The jacket is not doing anything for me.
Okay.
It's like new era Leonardo DiCaprio, Great Gatsby. I don't like it at all. These like throwback 2011 sunglasses, I'm gonna shoot all the way. This is Lady
those are the
Gaga-esque.
Snookies. Yeah,
Snooki.
Snooki.
This is the Snookies.
The Snooki jersey, sure, like for sure. Yeah, I would say poor execution with the jacket. I don't think the gold is even. It looks like you remember like one of those games that you would have. This is me getting real old again here. Like the marble maze game
Yes,
thing that
I
you
know
would
what
have.
you're talking about. Yeah.
In like a dentist office, and then you'd just be like, I got the ball in the hole, but that's what his jacket looks like. Yeah, I mean, if we're booting, we can boot this. This was this might have been WrestleMania when there was the pandemic and there was no crowd, so I'm gonna chalk it up to that.
That's the excuse.
Yeah.
There was no crowd, so he can wear whatever he wants.
Yeah. He was performing in front of LED screen fans.
This is a solidarity boot for everyone that suggested this to be the worst, because it's really just his only miss. Because next, it's this palm tree getup. I'm gonna say this: he looks real good in this suit. However, I think this guy looks better.
Yo. I have the purple shirt now too. That's the part that is bothering me the most. Is I actually have a purple shirt now for underneath. I am 100% bringing this one to Mania. This is getting a little love back here. I might actually have to get a wig. I mean,
grow out the hair. You got a month to grow out the hair.
That's not gonna happen anytime soon.
Wait, did you wear this to Money in the Bank?
I wore this. So no, this was the SmackDown before Money in the Bank. I wore this. And this was a big hit too. Yeah, people love this. I pulled up to the arena. I got out of an Uber like XL. I purposely ordered the XL to make it look like I was actually Seth Rollins. And I was turning a lot of heads when I walked in there.
You committed to the bit to get an XL Uber.
Yeah.
So people would think that you were actually Seth Rollins, as if they don't already think that when you don't wear these suits.
I said nowadays I feel like Seth Rollins is entering his fake Nick Tullo era, and I was in the fake Seth Rollins era. Now he's in the fake Nick Tullo era. I think like he's so off the radar that now in some kind of multiverse we've actually crossed paths. And his fake Nick Tullo era is now my fake Seth Rollins era was back then, and now I think it's just going to be one big Spideyverse going forward. Yeah. That's all I want is to take that picture with him one day. Is to do that.
Hopefully you guys can like plan it out somehow where you do a Spider-Man.
I said they missed out big time not capitalizing like when I had the long hair to like throw me off a building or something, or like, you know, as use it as like a stunt double, you know.
I don't want to see you thrown off a building, bud.
Well, you remember when they did that during the pandemic for the Money in the Bank match?
I don't want to see that.
That could have been me. I could have been the guy.
Oh my God. In Stanford.
Whew. What a time to be alive.
Well, I'm going to give this a shoot.
Yeah. I mean, the chest hair is a shoot too.
I mean, yeah. Like, Seth looks low-key daddy in this this getup. Chest hair, all that stuff.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he knew what he's doing. The other guy though, he also knows what he's doing. Someone should definitely throw him off into the ring.
That's a good one. Ooh, that got me good.
Oh man, dude, this
Wow.
is the one that you have to cosplay this year for WrestleMania. This is the
No
WrestleMania
shot.
38 lace get up. You got to do this one, bud. This is a shoot.
So I will say I am more shoot on what the like what this looked like as his gear as opposed to the like I don't like the entrance style as much as I actually love the way the pants actually look by themselves. I thought
Uh-huh.
when he was rocking those in the ring, I was like, wow, those are just absolutely gorgeous. The whole ensemble together. I actually think this entrance was a big miss for me with the chorus. I felt like the kids were at a bar mitzvah right before it, and like they all have neon hats on, and like foam fingers and like weird party toys, and they're singing this thing. I was like, I'm expecting this year's WrestleMania entrance for Seth to be massive, especially if he's going against Logan.
Like a choir?
I don't.
That's not your call. That's not your call.
I don't know what he's going to do. I think, honestly, he should probably come in. If he's going to do something, he should probably zip line in. He needs to do, I know that's a sensitive topic around these parts.
That is. I don't know about that one.
If you're facing Logan Paul, right? The big mega, viral superstar who goes viral by doing frog splashes with phones in his hand. If you're doing something against Logan Paul, the way you beat him isn't just in the ring. You have to outshine him. So he's got to do something big. He can't be coming through with Jessica's bar mitzvah party. Just got out from around the corner from the SoFi Stadium, and they're over here running the second gig of the night. Look at you can zoom in on that dance crew back there. Those kids were just at a bar mitzvah, okay?
Yeah, they were. So entrance, a boot, the actual ring gear is a shoot.
Yes.
I'm gonna give this a shoot overall. All right, he's got 2 boots so far. Not bad. But this one,
oh my god,
Dusty Rhodes rip at the Hell in a Cell. He's got the 2 sweet hands too. But you were just talking about this one, and again, this is another one where it reminds me of the Rick Rude, where he's intimidating his opponent, dressing up like his dad. But it didn't hurt Cody because Cody had that massive bruise on his chest.
Oh my god, yeah, that was and that whole element too added to the match with the injury. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, when I didn't even think about this, I honestly, the cool part about this was I thought he was going full Stardust, which I think Seth will save for when they face each other next.
Yeah,
which is, and if Seth goes full Stardust, it's game over. It's over. He'll do the vest with the fucking paint and the gloves. And the gloves. And when he goes full Stardust, it's game over. It's because no one's thinking about doing that. And I think, honestly, he might have that hey, no one's doing Stardust here. It's only going to be me. Because I got that feeling with the Joker thing too, right? We just had that Joker commercial. So I was like, ooh. I was like, the Stardust could work too, So
I think he's the only person on that roster that can pull off Stardust, dressing up as Stardust before having a match with Seth Rollins. I would love to see that at SummerSlam if Cody is going to win the championship at WrestleMania.
That's the perfect.
I need to see that at SummerSlam. I need to see that in general. Yeah, just the intimidating factor alone with this outfit is an absolute shoot. I also I don't know why, but I really like how baggy the tank top looks on him. I don't know if that was on purpose or whatever.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he's having so much fun with this. This is his fun era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what people don't get about what he's doing now too, is I think he's just having just an insane amount of fun, and it's working. So I love it.
Yeah, because we're having fun with his outfits,
Hmm.
especially this next one.
Oh my God.
It's the Rob Van Dam hit
I
that he
forgot about
wore
this.
at the Extreme Rules. Yet another one that people forget because this one is underrated. This is top tier. He's got the gloves
Uh-huh.
on, the rip on the chest, and the tights. This is a shoot for
And that,
me.
and this is why Seth is who he is, and why when people like, especially now, I think he gets a lot more hate for what he does. But like, man, he's doing it though. Ain't nobody else doing this and like taking these risks. Cody Rhodes comes out in the same stuff. Roman Reigns comes out in the same stuff. They're all coming out in the same. Johnny Gargano's a guy that does it, but he does it in a different way because this is more cosplay. Like, even though Seth does it, but doesn't. Seth has an interesting way of making a cosplay, but making it his own too,
Yeah.
And that's what I respect about him. And all the gear and the outfit, this is so cool. And especially the Extreme Rules. What a great time to do it.
Yeah.
That's me. Okay. First of all, that's me. That's not Seth Rollins.
It looks like you have a tank top like that too. I'm pretty sure I've seen you in a tank top just like that.
Look how happy he is.
That's you.
That's
bud.
me. That's not him.
Yeah, man. This gear's a shoot. It's
yeah,
so good.
for sure.
It's top tier. But this next one, bud.
Oh
this
my
is
God.
the one. This is the one, dude. This is the Elton John rip that he did at Clash at the Castle. I mean,
what an icon.
It doesn't get any better than this.
It's so bright. It's lighting my face up orange right now. That's how bright it is on the screen. He's such an icon, like when he came out looking like that, I'm like, this guy's out of his mind, man. He's just literally just insane. And what a great time to do it too. Everybody knew what it was. It's like, I'm so here for him. He's the best.
Man, when I saw him come out in this, I was like, all right, I gotta see Tullo wear this. Maybe this is the WrestleMania gear because he has the headpiece and you don't need a wig. I think this is the one, pal. I think it's the one.
It's getting harder and harder to not buy those big ass red boots that he was wearing.
I don't know. I think that
he
might
did.
be.
Oh shit! He did something recently. Was it at Royal Rumble? Oh, the cowboy. The cowboy one was so funny. At Royal Rumble, he had just like the denim jeans, the boots, like a denim shirt, the cowboy hat, like the big sunglasses. His hair was all like his out.
Yeah. When he was doing press for the Royal Rumble. Yeah. That was a good look. The Canadian tuxedo.
Yeah.
He had on, but man, this one is elite. You need those heart glasses. We're gonna have to get you some like wings from Party City somehow. Oof. I think this is the gear to rock.
It just gives me anxiety to think about having to put that together. I'm the kind of cosplayer that likes to buy the full suit off Bonobos or whatever that company is called for like $150. Undiscounted, comes straight from China.
If you lived in Long Island right now, if you just moved back, I would absolutely help you make that.
Yeah, I know, right? We'd be sewing it.
We'd be sewing it. I'd put the gems on your head.
Yeah.
Man, this is a shoot. Like when he came out in this, I felt like it broke Twitter a little bit.
Look at him.
That event. Again, he's having a blast.
Uh-huh.
This is his fun era. I don't give
those tights are not doing him any fucking...
I mean, yeah, I wasn't gonna address the camel toe on that. But,
oh man, that's the toe, the knuckle, and the forearm.
All right, that does it for this segment. Well, there's no one I could have done this shoot and boot segment with Nick Tullo, but
I feel like we nailed it.
We did nail it, but we nail it all the time when we're like, we get together. We
totally
have a great time. You're my wrestling pal. Number one wrestling pal.
Can I say something before we depart? I'm not sure if that was what was happening. If we were looking for
that is what's happening. Actually,
I would just like to
Go for
say,
it.
I just got back from Orlando. I did a whole work week stint down there. My last day, I went to Hollywood Studios and Epcot. Shout out to Lauren Moran for helping me. Like, kudos to you, Disney goers. Y'all are the most patient, well-rounded, incredible human beings I've ever met in my whole entire life, because you really need to plan and do it the right way. Thank you, Lauren, for helping me, because I would have been a scared little boy lost in Galaxy's Edge, not knowing where to go and what to do. And man, oh man, now I understand why people love being adults and going to Disney, because I had a fucking blast. It was so much fun. And I want to go back so bad. I'm like dying. I'm like, oh my God. I was thinking about Rise of the Resistance today and how I got totally fucked over. I got there at 7:00 in the morning. I was the first one in the park, ready to shoot over there. You had my direct route, how to get there fast, and it was closed. And I was worried that I wasn't going to get on. And I ended up waiting what ended up being 2.5 hours just to ride the ride at like 12:30. I was dying, and I got on it, and I didn't appreciate it enough when I left, because I was so miserable about waiting 2.5 hours to ride it. Yeah. That it just settled in recently that, man, that ride fucking ruled. It was so awesome. And the goddamn Guardians of the Galaxy ride at fucking Epcot is so awesome. I hope you all get to ride it one day. I was screaming like a kid, going nuts. Oh man, I cannot wait to. That's how I wanted to just share to all the Disney people out there. I respect you. I love you. You people are awesome, and I cannot wait to go back, because now I am hooked 100%.
Hey man, let's try to go to Disneyland at WrestleMania. Let's try to pick a day. There's the Marvel campus now. So now we can go say hi to some Marvel people. Yo, what up, Avengers? let's that's the plan. We'll meet up at WrestleMania. We'll go to Disneyland.
I mean, listen,
people will still, I will say, even though we're in Disneyland, someone will come up to you and say, "Hey, Seth Rollins, can I get a picture?"
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
It's totally gonna happen. And I miss being around that with you. And I just miss you in general.
You know, surprisingly, I just looked up flights. I still haven't booked my flight. It's very cheap to get out to LA. So
that's great to know, coming from someone from New York, and it's like over $500.
I know. I actually should probably book my flight, but
go book for it.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, about that. Anywho, we'll figure that out later. I love you, Nick. Thank you. I love you, coming by the pod. We'll do this again.
Thanks for having me. Hey, whenever you want. This is I mean, easy peasy, beautiful cover girl. You know, that's it. We did it.
Perfect way to end the podcast. Love you.
Bye.